G'day folks, welcome back to another update for natural gas. Now the price has bounced since our last update and it's approaching a key resistance area, so I'll see how far it's going to go. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. In terms of the outlook as of today, February 19, natural gas prices have surged recently, influenced by cold weather increasing heating demand and geopolitical tensions affecting supply chains. For the ETFs, like ProShares Ultra, Bloomberg Natural Gas, BOIL, have seen significant gains, with BOIL's price currently at 83.27, reflecting a 12.4% increase from the previous close. Conversely, inverse ETFs like ProShares Ultra Short, Bloomberg Natural Gas, KOLD, have declined, with KLD's price at 23.07, down 12.7%. For the energy sector, companies like Woodside Energy, Santos are anticipating modest earnings declines due to weaker energy prices, while focusing on growth projects to capitalise on future demand. The rapid expansion of AI data centres is significantly impacting natural gas demand. Data centres currently consume about 1 to 2% of global electricity, and this is projected to increase by 160% by 2030. Driven by AI workloads. In the US, this growth could boost natural gas demand by 3 to 6 billion cubic feet per day by 2030, as utilities plan new natural gas-fired plants to meet rising energy needs of AI data centers. So we always look at the long-term trends first and make sure we're trading in the direction of the long-term trends. So I've got the monthly, the weekly, and the daily here. So depending on which time frame you're choosing, always go in the direction of the higher time frame. So on the monthly, it's still bullish, with the CCI 150 broken above the moving average range, and likewise the price has also done so. And for those new to the channel, we typically see the CCI moving in line with the price. So in other words, the peaks are pretty much in the same mode, with the exception of divergence, and I'll talk about divergence in a minute. For these moving averages, if you want to learn how to draw those on your own charting software, they're in the video description below. There's a link there. So again, bullish movement on the monthly, also bullish on the weekly. Now you'll notice here, if I put back all these indicators, we've got a back here, we did have a where are we? Hang on, this is back this period. We did have a bearish divergence back here, back in 2022. The lower peaks or lower highs on the CCI versus higher highs on the price, and it fell off quite strongly since then, and that's our minimum retrace level. Now, since then, it's actually, you can see there, we're currently still bullish with the CCI broken above the moving average band. On the daily, it was in this range previously with this minor support and resistance, support at 32.16 and a minor resistance at 38.78. And you can see there, since our last update, it's broken up through this ascending diagonal trend line, which we drew, but also through that minor resistance. And now it's approaching this key resistance at 40.60. The CCI is still above its moving average range, giving us a nice strong bullish momentum at the moment on the daily. Now if we go to the intraday charts, we always look at the intraday first. So let me just get rid of these to demonstrate, make it a bit cleaner to see. So again, bullish movement on the daily, which means we only take long trades on the 1 hour time frame. You can interchange the 1 hour with the 2 hours or whatever other time frame you're trading. But in this example, I'm just demonstrating the 1 hour, same principles. So you can see here, during our long periods, our last trade would have been a successful one, and so far you're still in a trade. You would have gone long when the CCI breaks above the moving average band, and also the price breaks above, and it would have done so right there. That would have been a perfect opportunity to go long. And if you're trading on that one, let me just draw it. So at the moment, what you do is you close it out when that CCI breaks into that moving average range there. So at the moment, we're still live on the trade, and that's a 9.7% gain in 13 hours of trade. So not a bad return for that period. You would have avoided going long or short during this period, this downtrend. And the last period of a long entry would have been back here when that CCI was bullish, and likewise when the price is above the moving average range. Notice here as well, we had a declining CCI peak or lower highs on the CCI versus higher highs on the price. That actually broke down and a gap down. And you can see that I've marked a target at 23.38% level, and you measure those Fibonacci retraces. You take it back to the previous low before that divergence started, and that's measured by that 23.38% retrace. In this case, it dropped right down to the 61%, rose a little, and then it fell further. In this case, it recovered, and again, we're only going long, we don't go short during this period, and you would have gone long in the direction of the daily. So in that trade we spoke about. So for BOIL, there's no CCI for it on the monthly. You can see there the price is very bearish on the monthly, so just cautiously going long on the lower timeframes. On the weekly, we did have a bounce off the CCI, a bullish movement, which is a bullish divergence versus lower lows on the price, and that's actually continuing to rise. So that's a positive. So potentially long trades on the weekly, cautiously if you're going long. But again, I'd like to see a more bullish break on the monthly to trade on the weekly time frame. But based on the weekly, you'd be going long on the daily. So again, you would have taken these long trades during those periods in accordance with this bullish move on the weekly. Now, since our last update, the price has appreciated beyond this 80.01 resistance we had previously. It's broken up through there, so I'm going to remove that resistance line. So now a bit of an open sky. There's no other sign of a resistance yet. You can see there a nice big bullish run on the CCI. So nice bullish move on the daily. Now if we go to the intraday, again bullish move on the daily, so which means we only take long trades on the hourly. Now we did have a slight bearish move here. This actually broke down and hit our target. And again, that target, again for those new to the channel, you draw a Fibonacci between that high and that previous low before the divergence started, and that was a 23.38% level. I don't trade these divergence. I use them as a potential area to get out of a trade. If I'm, in this case, if I'm going long, I would get out of that position. But again, I follow the CCI and just use these divergence as potential avoidance of trades. Now in this case, again, going long in the direction of the daily, you would have taken a long trade there. And if I was to draw a few entries, a break above the CCI there, so you would have gone long on that candle, and you would have closed it out on that little bearish candle there. That was a 4.6% gain in 12 hours of trade. A bit of a false break there, and that might have been, depending on where your stop loss was, either a small loss, or if you kept holding on to it. I like to see it break a lot lower before that, so maybe below that moving average range of the CCI. And in this case, the price did appreciate, and then it dropped down again in the CCI at that level there. So if you held it, that was a 2.8% gain in 11 hours of trade. Another, that looks like another false break there potentially. Broke down. Again, very small loss on that one if you're going to stop it out or wait for it to break below the moving averages of the CCI. In this case, it kept rising and you'd still be in a trade. And at the moment, you're 11.7% gain in 13 hours of trade if you're trading one. For KOLD on the monthly, you can see it's broken below the moving average range, giving us a bearish signal on the monthly. There's no CCI for it drawn yet on the monthly. On the weekly, a very strong bearish outlook so far, and it's still dropping. So bearish movement, bearish trades only on the daily if you're trading in accordance with the weekly trend. And on the daily, likewise, you can see there the inverse has happened. It's broken below this previous key support we had at 27.80, and again, further declines outlook presumed. The CCI is still falling, no sign of a pullback, and that goes with this break further below this support, as I said. So bearish movement on the daily, very strong bearish movement. If we go to the intraday charts, again trading on the hourly, we go short only with it in accordance with the daily trend, and you would have gone short on our last entry. Avoid going short or long during that period. That was a bit of a false break on that one there, but again, depending on where your exit was, you might have got out with a small loss on that one. You can see a very minor gain, but a very small loss. And a more recent trade, you would have gone short on that candle, and you're still in a trade at the moment with a 7% gain in 4 hours of trade, and a couple of other small potential break-evens and so on. Now you can actually, depends where you want to put your stop loss. I like to using the CCI. It gives you an earlier warning to exit the trade, but it also gives you a lesser stop loss rather than waiting for it to break above the price moving averages. You could, of course, follow the price moving averages, but again, often you might lose a lot more in terms of your stop losses. So again, small losses can be stomached, and the gains outweigh the small losses more often than not. Lastly, we look at UNG. Now, UNG on the monthly is broken into that moving average range on the monthly, with a bullish move on the CCI. So moderately bullish to neutral positioning on the monthly. On the weekly, we had a bullish divergence here, higher lows on the CCI versus lower lows on the price, and that's continuing to rise on the CCI. You can see there a nice big bullish movement on the weekly as well, so potentially long trades only if you're trading in the direction of the weekly. On the daily, however, it's actually broken a lot higher than this previous key resistance at 20.02, and I'm going to remove that because there is no other sign of resistance yet, and as soon as that happens I'll let you know. But again, bullish move on the CCI and a very strong bullish move on the price chart as well on the daily. If we go to the intraday charts on the 1 hour chart here, again going long only, we don't take short trades. You would have taken these long entries back here. I won't draw all of them, but you can see that's by eyeballing it, a few little gains, nice little gains made. Now here we had a bearish divergence. Now that hasn't probably worked out. Let me have a quick look at that. So slightly lower lows on the CCI versus slightly higher highs on the price. Lower highs, I should say, on the CCI. And if I pull back to that area there, in fact that did work. You can see there the minimum retrace was between, if I just try and get it to work, between that area. You can see there that wick hit that 23% and it penetrated. Then eventually it did fall a lot further, about midway into that area. So filling up that that gap or that bullish candle to some degree, about halfway down. So it bounced in that minimum range and then it bounced out of there. So again, always pay attention to these divergences. They do retrace more than 90% of the time into this range. Now since then you would have gone long, a fresh entry, you would have been on that candle, and you're still in the trade at the moment. 3% gain in 4 hours of trade, not too bad. You've got to be careful you don't enter too early, because sometimes, again, always fall, even though the price is above the moving averages, this could easily have fallen and broken to the downside. So always be, I like to trade when the CCI is a fresh breakout like it did here.
To support the channel more, hit that like and subscribe button and share the video. For added benefits and the cost of a coffee, consider subscribing to the Patreon page where we look at weekly scans of bullish trending shares and insider trades that may have occurred. Thanks again and see you in the next video.